Hello and welcome to my channel Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and just maybe a stick of rock. Stick around, you never know. Welcome along to my latest video. And the year, we're in the 1980s, this is 1983. And I'm really enjoying doing these 80s videos. Now as I get further into the decade, I might not have 10 every year, so we'll have a look at that. I mean, maybe we may have to combine 1 or 2 years together, or maybe more. You never know, and especially in the late 80s, especially. But I don't know, I haven't looked at it yet. But anyway, I have enough for 1983, and I think these are 10 must-have studio albums in my collection. And I personally think they should be in your collection, but then again, music is subjective. And thanks very much for all the comments and new subscribers and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much for watching, I really do appreciate it. And I mean that, I really do. Anyway, the usual way I do this, whatever was released first in the year, up to the last. So 10 albums, must-have albums in my collection. And the first one we're going to kick off with, released on the 4th of March, and the year of course is 1983, is Thunder and Lightning by Tin Lizzy. Their last studio album, because Phil Lynott was to die a few years later. And John Sykes is on this album. I saw John Sykes play it. Brilliant guitarist, more metal than anything else. I think the cover is actually not great, if I'm being honest, but a brilliant album, a brilliant way to go out, and brilliant Irish band, Tin Lizzy. That's my first one. Second one, and I know a lot of people don't like this album, but I love it, and I did a video on this album actually, talking about this album, and I will leave it in the, wherever it is, up there somewhere. I will leave it, the link up there if you want to watch it. It's Pink Floyd's The Final Cut, released on the 21st of March. Now I know that a lot of people say this is a Roger Waters solo album. That's debatable. I know he wrote everything on it, but he was the only one putting forward ideas at the time. And I think this is a 10 out of 10. This is a masterpiece, as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely amazing Floyd album. Yeah, he's given out on it, but he's talking about war in general and the effects of war has not only the people who actually participate in the war, but their families left behind and going forward and all that kind of stuff. So it's absolutely superb. That's The Final Cut by Pink Floyd. So we're moving on now into April. April the 19th approximately, which is my birthday actually, but this is approximately. I'm not 100% sure actually when this was released in April. I think it's around that time. This is Eli again with Performance. And a lot of people don't like this album either, and I love this album. I think this is absolutely fantastic. This was after the Planets and Time to Turn double concept kind of, one after the other albums, and this is not a concept album. He went back to more short tunes because that's what the band wanted and that's what he gave them, and it wasn't a success really, this album, but I think it's brilliant. If you haven't heard Performance by Eli, I think it's a fantastic cover. Go and check it out. Brilliant for the time. Must have album. Must have. Now we're going to May the 25th, and after Ronnie James Dio had left Black Sabbath, he went solo, and he brought out his first album, which I bought on cassette. I didn't buy it on LP. I don't think CDs would have been around. They would have been starting to come around now, I think. But I bought it on cassette. Don't ask me why I bought it on cassette. I think my record player could have been on the blink. Holy Diver. I think this is a brilliant debut album, for his solo career. Absolutely superb. Heavy metal. Brilliant cover. Brilliant. I don't think he ever bettered this album, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but in my opinion, this is a must-have album in anyone's collection. That's Ronnie James Dio. The late, great Ronnie James Dio. Then on the 27th of May, and I bought this album when it came out. Actually, I bought a lot of these when it came out, which is interesting, because I know the 70s are my favourite decade, but of course I was too young then to buy them when they came out. But in the 80s I did buy a lot of these, not all of them, a lot of them. Mike Oldfield, Crisis, my favourite album by Mike Oldfield, and I bought it on LP, not this particular LP because I got rid of a lot of them. Brilliant title track, first side, Crises, with Simon Phillips on drums. Magical. a magical prog track in the 80s, in 1983. And John Anderson sings on this on the second side, In High Places. And incredible album. Must have Mike Oldfield album. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now we're moving on to July, and the great Robert Plant released his second solo album called The Principle of Moments. And I bought this when it came out. I bought it on LP. And brilliant. I think the first album, a lot of people think this is, I think this is slightly better actually. The production on this is absolutely superb. All around the whole album is brilliant. It's not heavy rock or anything like that, but it's brilliantly produced. Superb singing by one of the greatest. Absolutely superb singing. A must-have album. That's Robert Plant, The Principles of the Moment. In my opinion, he did never better that album going forward. Not a lot of people say he have, but I don't like his later stuff at all. Can't stand it actually. So now we're moving on into September the 29th. Tangerine Dream. That's the very first album I ever bought by Tangerine Dream. Hyperborea, 1983. This is when I got into him after hearing that soundtrack from a film, The Soldier. And I bought this. I bought it on LP. Don't have it no longer, but it's actually better on CD. Amazing. You have Sphinx Lightning on this title track, Hyperborea, No Man's Land. Absolutely incredible. Did they ever better this album going forward? No, they didn't. I think this is their last amazing album. Yeah, they brought out excellent albums after that, but this is their last great album, in my opinion. Studio album, that is. So that is Tangerine Dream. Where are we on to now? Right, the last three. And myself and Kevin would have bought the next album roughly when it came out. Not exactly when it came out, roughly. Because we heard it in a record shop in town. And we were in a small little record shop, no longer with us here in Waterford. And he played this album and we liked it. And we really did like it. It was different than their, obviously, other stuff. 90125, yes. More 80s sounding prog, pop, rock. I know you have that track, Owner of a Lonely Heart. It's an okay track, like, you know. But you have better tracks on this, like, you know what I mean? But I love City of Love on this. Absolutely brilliant. Really rocking heavy track. Of course, Trevor Rabin is on this, and you can hear the difference in the sound, obviously, from the previous album, which is Drama, which hadn't John Anderson on it. But is it a better album than Drama? Absolutely not. No way. It's an excellent album, must-have album, but to me, their last, great album, maybe. One or two after that in the 90s, maybe. Anyway, that's yes. 90125. Huge hit from the single show went to number one in America. One of a Lonely Heart. Now, the last two. So we're into November now again still. So actually the day after 90125, Blue Oyster Cult released The Revolution by Night. And I bought this when it came out on LP. Couldn't wait to get it. And I did enjoy it. Not as good as the previous album, Fire of Unknown Origin. Different production. Obviously Martin Birch didn't produce it, but I liked it. I think it's their last really great album. Possibly now. But love the album, Revolution by Night, by the brilliant American band Blue Oyster Cult. Absolutely superb band. And the last one, on the 14th of November, third album by this brilliant artist. And I bought it on cassette. And he had a new guitarist in J.K. Lee, I think it was. Bark of the Moon by Ozzy Osbourne. The late, great Ozzy Osbourne. Only passed away there last month. I like this album. I know a lot of the lads didn't like it, but I like it. Is it as good as Diary of a Madman? No. But it's still a must-have album. And of course there's a lot of controversy over the writing credits on this album. J.K. Lee saying that he wrote a lot of the tracks, and they had to sign contracts saying that Ozzy Osbourne wrote them all. So who knows what happened. but it's had to be confirmed by a few people, but I don't. Obviously, we weren't there at the time. But anyway, this is a brilliant album. Huge seller in America and in Europe. I like the album, and it's a must-have in anyone's collection. I think he had a run of albums after this that were all excellent. But this is Bark of the Moon by the late, great Ozzy Osbourne. Brilliant must-have studio album. Anyway, that's it. A couple of honourable mentions that maybe must-have, and maybe not. Born Again by Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan. I was disappointed with the sound on that more than that. I thought there were brilliant tracks on it, but the sound, I hope Tony Iommi remixes that. And the first album by Marillion, I bought it when it came out, and I still have it. Have it on LP and CD, Script for a Jester's Tear. Is it a must-have album? Possibly. I don't think so, though. I have it, and I do like it, but it's not a boom-boom album. It sounds too much like Genesis, in my opinion. Anyway, there could be more, but that's it at the moment. And I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I will be interested to see what you have picked. Now, I know a lot of people have picked loads of stuff that I probably don't have in my collection. I probably have no interest in having in my collection, but there are some that I do have interest to have in my collection, but there's so much stuff out there. But I will be interested to read the comments. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, whatever you're doing, stay safe. Very important. And it's also nice to be nice. That's so nice to be nice, isn't it? Puts a smile on another person's face. But anyway, from me here, Pat, on Close to the Edge, until my next video, which will be 1984. Hopefully I'll have 10 for that. I'll have to check it out. Anyway, whatever you're doing, do it right. Bye bye.